My name is Apollo Robbins, and I was a consultant on the movie Focus. I have an assorted background that comes from a combination of an interest in deception, how it is used in con games and different types of crimes.
You get their focus. You can take whatever you want.
As we researched the con world,
his name kept coming up because he's just an extraordinary magician and con artist.
I met Glenn and John quite a bit before we began pre-production for this film, and they kind of dove into my life, and they were both students of human nature themselves, and I think all three of us had that in common. So they had such an instinct for this world already that I think that this is their first opportunity to really jump in and fully embrace the heist con.
I remember when I first read the script, I started doing a bit of research online, and the first person I came across was Apollo Robbins, who is arguably the world's best pickpocket.
It's interesting when you spend time with people in this culture because they have kind of a language on their own. It's almost like you want to have subtitles underneath it.
Tommy's the shade, Garrett's the stick. You want a wire?
I want a cannon.
All eyes on me until I make the mark.
The Toledo panic button.
I'm sorry, what?
And in any type of diversion theft team, or as we'd say, a pickpocket team, there are different roles, just like if you're playing football. And each one of them has a specific responsibility inside of a play like this. So the wire's like the quarterback. His job is to actually pull off the touch, to remove the item. He's the most valuable player. Because if he gets caught, the whole team goes down and there's not much they can do. So in a lot of these plays, you'll see the move of Margot's character moving into playing the wire and actually being the one who does the pulls, which is a big jump in a wire mop team.
I got to work with him and he trained me, and it was just an incredible experience, and it added another dimension to their character because so much of pickpocketing is all about distraction, and it's all about manipulating people physically, you know, kind of blindsiding certain spots so that you can steal from different areas and things like that.
She uses the action of the menu to cover his view as she begins to extract. She spins, removes the whole wallet out, and then she passes the wallet to her purse as she hands him back the menu. Kind of a neat steal. For a lot of Margot's scenes, they're more physically demanding as far as the stealing goes for this sleight of hand dexterity. Hey Margot, here's a little tutorial on how to do the watch piece. Ava, can you go and come in? Now, the important thing is that you lead with the right hand to his shoulder, and you're grabbing his wrist with your left hand and to pull his arm up. That allows you to expand the watch, so it'll be the magnetic expanding there. So that way when the watch comes off, it'll come straight off that way. Margot picked this up incredibly fast. She was sitting in the studio as I was trying to pick out marks for different heights for her body that she could steal from, and she really was able to get the idea of the momentum. I think because she also has a ballet background, she was able to grab the idea of the movements and the structure. We had very intricately rehearsed a lot of these pieces with Margot, and then when we went down to the French Quarter and we're on the street, because of the lighting dynamic, they needed to shift some of the scenes to the other side of the street.
The light moved, so can you do that from the other side? I'm like, can I steal that watch with my left hand now? Okay, sure, or can I throw the wallet backwards now? Okay.
Which means she was have to do the steals left-handed or right-handed and flip them completely mirrored backwards, and she hadn't rehearsed for that. So within a very short time, window of time, she was able to recalibrate and pull off those scenes.
Ponytail's your mark, right bridge, right rear pocket.
The steer has to identify a mark. He sees where they put their wallet, he sees who has cash, exactly where it is.
All eyes on me until I make the mark, and once I fan him, I tug my lapel.
He lets the wire know that, then the wire picks up the play from there. The way he does it's kind of interesting because usually there will be a cue or some kind of subtle code that he does to indicate which play they should do.
2 fingers means it's a Pratt poke. 3 fingers means the leather's an insider. If it's a Cordine or an ox tongue, I'll scratch my nose unless I use my thumb, which means that I am actually scratching my nose. You two come with me.
The stick is the helper. They're the assistants. They're the roles that you'll see myself and Ava jump in as little spots that help facilitate the play.
And in that role as a stick, we're kind of setting up a frame to make her be able to steal, to position somebody, turn someone so their pocket's correct.
That was nice.
I got this.
What?
Give me some shade. Excuse me, you're so lost.
The shade is counter surveillance. They cover the action. So their job is to watch for any type of cops or hidden cameras or security cameras, and they block the action so that it's not seen by anybody else using different types of plays. But you'll see that throughout this piece, whether they use a map to cover the action.
Congratulations, you're a criminal.
Can I get in on this?
Liuan Say, legendary gambler. He bets on everything, anything, huge cash bets all the time.
The mark is the target. It's the sucker of a con.
There's this big scene with this Chinese businessman and how he's conned into playing this game. And I'm kind of like the decoy. And it's really funny. It's a great scene.
No fucking way! That is unbelievable! How did you do that? Oh, we have got to go to Vegas right now.
The way you find a mark has to do a combination of where their attention is, but also their psychology. How aware are they of their environment? And you take advantage of that. So there's little nicknames for different types of marks.
A candy bar is a friend of mine's term. He was a thief, and he said, they make a nice candy bar. It's like a sweet mark that's easy to hit. Yeah, pigeons are another term.
But also, pappy is an interesting phrase, meaning that, so this window of time, and when somebody's older and more vulnerable, but not they'll get the triple charge, is called a pappy.
I don't like this, and I don't like him.
Why?
He's a con man, sir.
That's the point.
Sometimes marks don't believe that they can be taken advantage of as a con, and that's what makes them perfect, but then they make a perfect sucker.
I can convince anyone of anything.
Yeah, you're the best.
The canon is the culmination of all the different roles. If you've learned to play all those roles, you can sometimes take all those skills together and play by yourself. It's kind of a lone wolf. You don't need the rest of the team anymore because you can use your environment and you can improvise. That's a scary thing in this film, is when you see Margot taking that step to move out on her own, saying, I don't need you guys anymore. I can do this on my own.
He was trying to steal his watch. Yes.
You're not still doing watch.
It's a Piaget Imperador. It's worth 200 grand.
Will was very focused on the psychology. He's someone who, as an individual, is focused on making people happy. And he has amazing talent that anywhere he goes, whether it's on set or as an individual, he lights people up. And it was an interesting transition to show him a world of, there's a little bit more puppet master, a little bit more Machiavelli of the darkness associated and what that darkness would be like. How do you prey on someone's needs and then learn to pull those out? And he was very interested in that kind of psychology.
Double or nothing, 10,000.
10,000, they make the kick. You got to bet.
That's such a powerful thing when a con man understands what you're perceiving, understands how you want to see things to bring the con to life.
So the term Whizmob came from a combination of what was happening in different major events. The NFL, the Indianapolis 500, they were getting hit by these teams that were rather unusual in how they would steal things. They would come into a town a couple weeks in advance, and they'd hit the hotels, they'd hit the lobbies, they would hit outside the game. And they were a combination of cannons. And what made that hard for law enforcement is normally a pickpocket team kind of looks like a school of fish moving in a crowd. But with cannons, they could split up, hit individually, or come together in pairs. So that's the combination of what a Whizmob team is all these cannons working together. In the hotel, you'll see them stealing different types of purses and luggage. And the inspiration for that came from something that used to be used a lot for shoplifters. They're called booster bags. And this would be a type of bag that would eat another type of bag. It could go over it and literally consume it. And we tried some playful ways of doing that, using a diaper bag to boost a little lady's clutch, using a larger luggage piece to open up the side and eat another one. Now, while some of those might be exaggerations of what are in the real world, the actual pieces are very functional, and they're used a lot by shoplifters or people to steal luggage.
What's great about Apollo is Apollo's concept around the art of distraction. So once you've created the distraction.
And if you think for 1 second I'm gonna let your mother talk to me like that.
Why are you yelling at me?
There's an artistry to the character that was magnificent to play.
He doesn't just teach you the technical way of pickpocketing, he teaches you the psychological method behind it as well, which was fascinating.
You never drop the con. Die with the lie.